Good morning, students. We will wait for a few minutes for the others to join.
Morning.
Okay, I think we can start. Let them join little later. So, any doubt in last class?
Yes.
transfer, another thing, no doubt. So we'll go into the next topic. So next topic is called as mat activities. This is little different from other topic. So here mat activities means something the these activities and all like we do in our day to day life activity, but sometimes because of any neurological issue or neurological problem, the person will not be able to do this activity, so we re-educate these kind of activities. Is that clear? So for example, turning in the beds. So turning in the beds are very very normal to us, isn't it? We learn this from our childhood. So when a child is born, it will be lying supine and it will be slowly starting to move its limb. Then gradually what it will do, it will turn to one side and it will be moving in towards one side. Then once it is turning to one side, then slowly it will go for side lying, then slowly it will go for prone lying. So this is called as milestone development of a baby. So this happens naturally in sense like by the activities of the baby, it is happening naturally. So while it is moving its limbs, so the limbs are becoming stronger. Then while it is trying to move this way and that way, the head is becoming stronger. Slowly, then it will go to side lying, then prone. So when it is going to prone, the trunk muscles will become stronger. Once the trunk muscles are slowly becoming stronger, it will try to get up in sense like it will try to go for kneeling. That is quadrupone position. So this is when in prone lying, when the baby's stomach is getting hurt, then it will slowly try to lift up the stomach. So that way only it will go for quadrupone position. Then it will go for crawling. Then it will go for sitting. So all these are natural way of development that we call it as milestone development. So this is the neurological development that will be happening in our childhood. So by the time like 11 months or 12 months, slowly the baby will try to hold something and stand up. Then slowly it will try to walk. So this is like from the lying position till the walking position. Slowly, the baby will be learning each and every movement by doing some activity. It will be improving on it and it will develop that particular movement and it will go to the next milestone. So these things are like inborn activities or natural activities that is going to happen. But so this kind of activities, because of some neurological problem like stroke or because of any other neurological disease, the person will not be able to do the activity. The person is not able to turn in the bed. The person is not able to get up by himself from the bed like that. So this is the muscles are the nervous system is getting damaged and they are not able to do the activities. So we as a physiotherapist wants to re-educate these kind of activities because these activities are the basic for every other day-to-day life activity. Without, for example, you just imagine if a person is just lying supine, lying for the whole night, the next day morning definitely he will develop some pressure sore. Okay, so if you are lying in the bed without changing the position for 12 to 24 hours, definitely your body weight will lead to some pressure sore. Okay, so like this issues will happen. So we need to turn unknowingly in our sleep. We will be turning this way and we will be turning that way. So these are the natural things that is happening. When this is not happening, as a physio, we need to re-educate them. So those are called as how to the way we are re-educating the activities is called as mat activities. Okay. So this mat activities are the basics for any function. So if a person is getting up, need to get up and go to the bathroom. So he need to turn in the bed, come to sitting, then come to standing, then slowly he has to walk and go to the bathroom. So this mat, like moving in the mat or like doing the milestone activity is the base for all the functions. So when they have lost these functions, we need to restore these functions. So that is our main rehabilitation. So during rehabilitation, our main aim is to restore this particular function. So once we restore this particular function, then only we will be able to teach their day-to-day life activity. Is that clear? Okay, so this re-education can be done on mat. Okay, so first thing is like this re-education, it is not only the mat, we have many kind of re-education. So those movement which we are doing in mat is called as re-education on mat. Okay, so we have something called re-education board. So maybe when you have learnt about resisted exercises, you would have learned something called re-education board. So during resisted exercises or like whenever you want to improve the patient's muscle power from 3 to 4 or from 2 to 3, you will be doing something called assisted and resisted exercises. So in this, we will be using this re-education board. So this is nothing but a board which will be having a very smooth surface on one side and a matte finishing on the other side. So whenever you want to give assistance, you use the smooth surface and you keep towards gravity. So the hand will just slip down or the muscle, the movement, the body segment will just slip down and do the movement. So this is called assistance. Okay, so during that time you would have learnt about this re-education board. So we can re-educate using this kind of boards also. So re-educate means re-educate a particular movement. Re-educate a particular like a movement in a body segment can be done using a re-education board. Especially in this re-education board, we will be doing for upper limb and lower limb. We will not be able to do for trunk. So the one we will be doing for trunk is your mat activities. Okay, so this is the second type of re-education. The third is when a person is not able to do walking. So we re-educate them to walk using a parallel bar. Okay, so parallel bar is nothing but two like a hand railing. Both the sides you will be having a hand railing kind of it. You will be holding the hand railing and you will be walking inside the bar. So that is called as parallel bar. Okay, so a person who knows to walk already, the person who has achieved the milestone earlier, but because of some neurological problem, either the milestone is delayed or the milestone is it is not there. So for those people, you will be able to re-educate the walking. So using a parallel bar. Okay, then the suspension therapy is also another way to re-educate a muscle. So we know when we are doing suspension therapy, we do tapping. We will be lifting the bony segment and we will be assisting them to do the movement. So these and all like we are re-educating the muscle movement. Okay, so that is also a re-education. Then in hydrotherapy also, if you see using the buoyancy, we will be giving some assistance and we will be re-educating the movement. Re-educating is nothing but educating again the movement which the person already had. And due to some neurological person, he has lost the movement. Is that clear? So that is called as re-education. So re-education can be done in a mat, especially for the trunk muscle, can be done on an re-educational board for extremities, can be done in a parallel bar for gait, can be done for suspension in suspension therapy for extremity muscles or limb muscles, can be done in hydrotherapy with the help of a buoyancy assistance for all the muscles. Okay, so these are the different methods we can do re-education. So all others already we have learned. Parallel bar you would have learned during your walking aid. Re-education board you would have learned during your resisted training. Now we are going to read about mat. So what is the difference in mat is here it is a basic for all the movements. It is a basic for all the movement. And here slowly from a very broader base of support, you will be making the person to go into a smaller base of support. So from a very broader base of support, slowly you will be making them to move into a smaller base of support. And here especially you are going to give weight bearing for the trunk, and you are going to re-educate the trunk muscles. Okay, it is not that like only trunk muscles, we do for upper limb, lower limb also, but apart from the other technique, here especially we are doing for trunk muscles. So as I said early, like this is the normal activity, like turning in the bed, getting up from the bed, walking around, like kneeling down, all these are normal thing. But because of the neurological problem, the patient may find it difficult to do so. So we are going to re-educate. So how do you make them to re-educate? You start from a very broader base of support. Slowly you reduce the base of support and you try to make them to balance the center of gravity. Okay, so for example, if you see, like if you make the person to lie down in a bed in supine lying. So in your fundamental positions, you would have read lying down is a broader base of support, because when you are lying down, the base of support is around your cot. Okay, so your base of support is very big and your center of gravity will be very lower to the ground. That's why the person even with very less balance also will be able to lie down in the bed, and they will be able to maintain the base of balance. Okay, so lying down is a very broader base of support. Slowly from this very broader base of support, you will be reduce the base of support and you will make them to come to you will make them to maintain their center of gravity, and you will improve their balance. So this is the concept behind the mat activity. So during the mat activity, what are the things you will be achieving means, so you will be facilitating the balance. That means indirectly when you reduce the base of support and when you lower the center of gravity, so slowly you will be facilitating the balance. Okay, so this is the first thing. First, additional to your trunk muscle re-education, when you are doing mat activities, you will be facilitating balance. So along with your trunk muscle improvement, this balance also will be improved. Okay, then not only balance, the stability of a person also will be improved. Then the mobility of the trunk and the limb muscles will be improved. So when you are mobile, when the mobility of the trunk muscles are improved, automatically the strength of the muscles also will be improved. Then at last you will be able to train them for a particular functional activity. So for example, the person is, because of the neurological problem, the person is not able to turn in the bed. Okay, so so you start to train them to turn in the bed. Slowly then you will make them to sit in the bed. Then slowly you will make them to walk. Then after walking, then you will train them to go to the bathroom by themselves. Okay, so the functional activity achieved is walking to the bathroom independently. That is the functional activity achieved. Or going to the bathroom and brushing independently, going to the bathroom and toileting independently. Okay, combing hair independently. All these are functional activities. So through the mat activities, you improve the trunk muscles, you improve the upper limb and lower limb strength of the muscle, then you improve the mobility of it, then you will improve the balance, you will improve the stability, then you will be at last reaching a particular functional activity. So that is the main concept behind this mat activity. Okay, so while doing any movement, the end product is achieving a functional activity or achieving a day-to-day life activity is the end of any mat activity. Is that clear? So now we will see what is the principle behind this mat activities. So the main concept behind the mat activity is it is mimicking the normal developmental sequence. As I said, when a baby is born, slowly it will try to move its limb in supine lying. Once it is moving its limb, then slowly it will turn its head. So by turning its head, it will achieve the neck control. then it will try to turn in the side lying, then it will try to turn in the prone lying, then it will try to sit up in the prone lying, then it will try to crawl, then it will try to kneel, then it will try to stand up, then it will try to walk. So this is a normal developmental sequence that will be happening in everybody's life at the initial time. So we mimic the same normal developmental sequence now whenever it is lost. Is that clear? So we mimic the same thing. So we start from the same supine lying, then limb movements, then side lying. So we start from the same normal developmental sequence. Okay? Then we start with a larger base of support, then we move towards a smaller base of support. So supine lying, if you see, if you draw a line around the bed, then that is the base of support. So it is the supine lying has the largest base of support. So from the largest base of support, slowly you will be trying to make the person to stand. So that means standing will be a smaller base of support when compared to lying down. Is that clear? Okay. Then next is the progression to improve your level of fitness. So whenever you are improving one by one, it is not going to happen in a single day, or it is not going to happen in a week. It will take some months for you to improve this developmental sequence. So the how the baby takes nearly 1 year to develop all the sequence like that, this is going to take a very longer time. So slowly when you are improving each stage, you are going to improve to the go to the next level of fitness. Is that clear? Then, so regularity to maintain an exercise regime that is consistent. So, for example, if you have achieved one after doing some exercises for 20 to 25 days, you have achieved the person independent prone lying. Okay, independent supine lying to prone lying. Then you should not leave it. You should consistently exercising that particular achievement. If you don't do it, again the person will forget that and it will go back to the original state. So you need to keep doing so that the improvement is consistent for a longer time. Then definitely through this mat activities, you will be able to improve the balance of all the area, and it will be equally improving in all the area. Then like we need to go towards a specific goal. Is that clear? So we need to go towards a specific goal. So for example, if a neurological person comes, we cannot broadly take that, okay, within 2 months I need to make the person to walk, go to the bathroom, go do this, do that. Not like that. You have a specific goal as a short term and you go towards that. And then you try to achieve that particular goal, then you will be able to reach one by one. It is not going to be happening with a like if it will not happen when you are doing it together. Okay, so slowly it will go one by one. Okay, then so now this is the principle. So before that I explain you the fact. Any doubt you have?
Mm.
So can we go into the activity?
Yes.
So this mat activity begins like from your supine lying. Okay, so this is the sequence of this mat activity. So from supine lying, you need to teach them rolling. Then you need to teach them prone. Okay, so in the mat, you need to teach the person rolling. Then after rolling, you need to teach them how to turn, go for side lying. Then from side lying, how to go to prone lying. Then from prone lying, prone on elbows, prone on hands, like that. Like slowly, you will be going to the next position, and at last you will come to half kneeling and standing. Is that clear? So that is the end of the mat activity. So we will see how to do this. So first thing is rolling. So rolling can be done in two ways. One is log rolling, another one is segmental rolling. Log rolling is nothing but it is like rolling a wood. So if you just roll a wood in the bed, then that is called as log rolling. So wood means it will not have head. You will not divide into head, upper trunk, lower trunk, and lower limb. You will be seeing as a complete log. So from the head to the till the toe, it is like a one segment, and you will roll them as a single segment. So that is called as log rolling. Segmental rolling means like it will be like you will be turning the head first, then you will be turning the upper trunk, then lower trunk, then the lower limb. So segment wise, like you will be dividing the human body into segment like head, upper trunk, lower trunk, and lower extremity like that. Upper limb, lower extremity like that. So when you divide them like this rolling will be like this will be happening as a segmental rolling. So what is the difference between the log rolling and segmental rolling means? Log rolling will be just happening around a longitudinal axis. It will have like a longitudinal axis, it will just rotate. But segmental rolling here, it will be moving independently. Once you are moving independently, the independent segmental balance will be achieved. So in log rolling, there is no independent movement. So no individual stability will be achieved. So that means when you're doing a log rolling, that can be the initial or starting, you can start with log rolling. Then slowly go into the segmental rolling. When once you do the segmental rolling only, you will be having the independent segment stability like head control, trunk control, lower extremity control like that. Segment wise control will be achieved only in segmental rolling. So whenever a person is coming, you will be starting with log rolling, then slowly you will be moving into segmental rolling. So the advantage of log rolling is you will be able to prevent the pressure sore. Okay, so you will be doing this log rolling so that the only advantage is it will help you to prevent the pressure sore. Is that clear? So now we will see how to facilitate this rolling. As I said earlier, so the person knows how to roll in the bed initially, but because of the problem, he has totally forgot about the rolling. So now, as a physiotherapist, we need to facilitate or bring back the rolling. So this cannot be just done with a single movement. If you do it, then the person will be depending on any other person. Then the other person have to take care of him properly so that he will not be do anything independently. So he will be totally depending on the caretaker. Okay, now so we need to facilitate it so that the person is able to do it individually. Okay, so how to facilitate? So first in log roll in rolling, first you have to improve the head control. Okay, so the head is the main part where you need to stabilize the head. If you're not able to stabilize the head, then no point in sitting. You just imagine a person doesn't have a head control, but he is having sitting balance. If he sits, what will happen? The head will be falling on the side or anteriorly or posteriorly. Then slowly the neck muscles will get teared and the person will die, isn't it? So the head control is very, very important when you are going for this kind of re-education. So how to facilitate head control means you need to make them to do flexion of head and neck. Okay, so first start with flexion. In supine lying, you make them to do flexion of neck, flexion and extension of neck. Slowly, when they are doing this flexion and extension of neck, you do it along with rotation. Okay, so that means when the person is turning to left side, he need to flex. When the person is turning to right side, he need to extend. Like that, you can combine the movement and make them to do the movement. So when you do this flexion and extension of the head, automatically the head control will be improved. Okay, so this flexion of head and neck with rotation is will be helping you when you are doing from supine lying to prone lying. Then in prone lying, if you see, you will be extending the head. You will be lifting the head. Without lifting the head, the person will not be able to breathe. So the person will be lifting the head and neck. So this will help you to assess the movement in prone to supine lying movement. So we don't go by log rolling. Log rolling can only help for pressure sore, preventing pressure sore. So we go from step by step. The first thing is segmental rolling. So in segmental rolling, first you get trained with neck flexion and extension. So this neck flexion and extension is very important for supine to prone and prone to supine. Is that clear? So how to do it? Initially, you will be making the person to do it with your help. That means you need to do passively. Then slowly make the person to do active assisted. Then slowly make the person to do active. Then slowly make the person to do resisted. Is that clear? So the movement will not be done just like that. So slowly, step by step, you are supposed to do the movement. Is that clear? So first you need to felicitate the neck muscles, neck and shoulder muscles. Okay. Then next is then how to make the person to turn. So what you do was you make the person to hold both the hands together at the along with the shoulder extension, shoulder flexion of 100 to 110 degree and elbow extended. So it is nothing but you make the person to hold the hand like this and try to do the movement. Is that clear? So this is the second thing you need to felicitate. So what you do is, for example, if the person's one side is affected also, with the help of the other side, the person will be able to hold the weaker hand. Okay, hold it, that is clasp the hand and do the movement in shoulder flexion 100 to 100 degree. Okay, so the hand has to be shoulder flexed to 100 to 110 degree and the elbow has to be extended. With this movement, you need to make them to hold the hand and do rotation movement of the hand. So when they are doing the rotation movement of the hand, your upper trunk will be moving on either side. Is that clear? So this is the second segmental rolling. So the upper trunk will be moving side by side. Then last is you need to cross the leg over the other. So which leg has to be in the upper part means the weaker leg has to be in the upper part. Is that clear? So in that manner you can cross the lower leg. So once you do this movement, once you are doing this hand holding and doing it faster, automatically the person will be able to go to the side lying. So you can just imagine you hold the hand and you are moving the hand very fast. So when you are moving the hand very fast, the whole of the lower trunk also will be trying to lift up along with the upper trunk. Is that clear? So that is your last step. So first is you do flexion and extension movement and improve the neck control. Then second is you need to improve the upper trunk control or shoulder control. So how to do it? With the help of the hand holding together, you lift the hand to shoulder flexions 100 degree to 110 degree. Then you extend the hand fully to 90 degree. Then slowly you will start to move the movement like a pendulum movement. So slowly you do it and you increase the momentum. So once you increase the momentum, automatically you will be able to turn to one side. Is that clear? So that is the way you will be coming to side lying. Is that clear? So from supine lying, you will be able to go to the side lying. Okay. So if you see here, supine lying is a broader base of support. Side lying, if you see compared to supine lying, side lying, it is having little lesser base of support. Is that clear? So the next one is how to reduce further the base of support. So in supine lying, if you see, the whole body that is touching the bed or the mat is having the center of gravity. So that means the center of gravity will be a bigger one. So now how to reduce the center of gravity? You make the person to be in crook lying. So the person is stretching his upper limb and lower limb. That will be having a larger base of support. Once you reduce the leg, once you crook the leg, then automatically your base of support will be lessened compared to supine lying. Okay, so this is the next stage where you reduce the base of support and you try to see whether the person is able to do the movement or not. So by making the person to be in crook lying, you can also do the swinging and you can also do the side by side movement. So which will be helping you to improve the turning in the bed activity in crook lying. Is that clear? So this is the next one. Do you understand it or not?
Yes.
So next is like bridging. So first you have started to do the rolling activity in supine lying. So that is a broader base of support. Then slowly once you achieve the side lying and prone lying, you are going towards the next stage, that is reducing the base of support. So from supine lying, you make the person to be in crook lying. So once you bring the person to be crook lying, you are able to reduce the base of support further. Okay, so once you reduce the base of support, in that crook lying, you try to do the rolling movement. So once you do it in the rolling movement, so in reduced base of support, you are able to do that rolling movement. That is the next second achievement. The third one is here, in crook lying, you try to improve the trunk muscles. Okay? So in crook lying, you try to improve the trunk muscles. So that means you try to improve the buttock, or you try to raise up the buttock from the bed. Is that clear? So you try to just lift up the buttock from the bed. So how to do this is, first thing you need to make the person to be in crook lying. Okay, so when the person is in the crook lying, he may not have balance in his legs. He may not have balance in his affected legs. So what will happen? Instead of holding the person leg in crook lying, the leg will be sliding down automatically because it is weaker. So for that, what you are supposed to do was, you flex the hip and knee, then you can sit on the feet, or you can hold the knee, and you can stabilize this particular position. Okay, so you can hold the knee or you can also hold the leg, and you need to stabilize the crook lying position. Okay, so initially the person may not have that. Slowly when you are giving them the training, it will improve. Okay, so first is maintain the crook lying position with assistance. So with assistance means you flex the hip and knee, you bend the leg and keep it on the bed. So in the bed you can make sure that you are sitting on that particular feet. So the feet is not coming down or feet is not sliding down. Is that clear? So this is maintaining with assistance. Then slowly you have to reduce the assistance. Like slowly you need to get up from the feet. You can just hold it in one hand. Then slowly you try to leave that also. So without holding, the person need to assume the crook lying position or maintain the crook lying position. Is that clear? So after the person is able to maintain the crook lying position independently, what you will ask them to do is, let them give weight bearing on the extremities. Okay, so uh, let them maintain the position without any assistance, without any help. Let them maintain the position. You will be bending the you will ask the person to bend the upper limb, and you will ask the person to press the elbow on the bed and lift the buttock up. So if the person is not able to perform, you can give assistance over the upper limb, or that means you can give compression along with the upper limb. Then you can try to lift the buttock off the bed. Okay. So how to do all these things, I will show you using a video, because you will not understand when I'm just talking. So I will show you the video and I'll be able to explain that. Is that clear? So don't worry about that. So first is maintain the position without the support. Second is slowly you try to lift the buttock off the bed. So once you try to lift the buttock off the bed, you can use the upper limb to give the pressure and lift the buttock up. Is that clear? So this lifting the buttock off the bed, then making it down. So like this, first you will be doing sometimes, then you will try to hold the position for some time. So lift up, hold for 10 seconds, then come down. Lift up, hold for 10-15 seconds, then come down. Okay, so this is an exercise. So then after the person is able to do this particular thing, then slowly make them to do a resisted pelvic bridging. So where you can give the resistance means you can give the resistance over the anterior superior iliac spine. Okay, so you need to give the resistance over the anterior superior iliac spine. So this will help them to lift the buttock against the resistance. Is that clear? Then once the person is able to do this, then slowly you can make them to do unilateral pelvic bridging. Okay, so once the person is able to do this, then you will be making the person to do a unilateral pelvic bridging. So unilateral pelvic bridging is uh, progressed one. Okay, so first is maintaining the position. Second, after maintaining the position, you need to go for pelvic lifting. Then once you are able to lift the pelvis, then you will go for a unilateral pelvic bridging. Okay. So now what is the benefit of this particular activity? So main benefit of this particular activity is it will improve the hip mobility. Okay, so if it has any tightness, or if it is having any uh, contracture over the limbs, that will be removed, and you will be able to get good mobility over the pelvic region. Is that clear? So that is first advantage. Second is it will help you to strengthen the lower limb and the hip extensor muscles. So it will help you to strengthen the lower limb and the hip extensor muscles. Okay, then it will help you to use the bedpan. So if a person is in prolonged bedridden position, so it will help you to use the bedpan. It will help you to clean up the back. It will help you to watch the wound side. Like if any wound is there in the buttock region, then it will help you to watch the wound side. So these are the main advantage of this particular position. Is that clear? Can we go to the next?
Yes, please.
So next is again reducing the further base of support, that is prone on elbow. So first, in the first video we saw rotating in the bed. So by rotating in the bed, you will be able to come to side lying, then you will be coming to prone lying. So in prone lying, once you are not able to lie down in that particular position for longer time, then you can go for this prone on elbows. So what is prone on elbows is like, okay, let me see if there is any pictures so that it is easy for you to understand. Okay, just a minute. It is there in the handbook. Okay. If you have handbook, you can also open your handbook. Normally, we will ask the pupils to print the handbook and keep for easy understanding. Okay. Did you go through the book?
Yes, sir.
You can see here, this is your rolling. Okay. So once you hold the hand in 100 to 110, then you will be doing the rocky movement that will help you to just roll to side lying, then slowly to prone lying. So this is your rolling. Then this is prone on elbows. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to make the person to be in prone lying. So from supine lying, you do the segmental rolling and make the person to come to a prone lying. In prone lying, just bring the limbs little backside and make them to put the weight on the elbows. So this is called as prone on elbows. Is that clear? So how to make them to come to prone for elbows, we will see in video. So next is like after making the person to come to prone on elbows, slowly what you will do is how to bring the person to prone on elbows means you need to, the therapist have to need to stand behind. You need to stand here, give a hand and lift up the elbow. Okay, so you may not understand if I tell you. I will show you the video, then you can understand, or else I will try to I think I have videos of already done one. I will show you that. Okay, then slowly from prone on elbows you need to make the person to be prone on hands. Okay, so just lift the shoulder part and bring it up. So the hand is coming to complete flexion to 90 degree. So the person will be standing on prone on hands. Okay, so in prone on elbow, the weight bearing will be going till the elbow joint. So the patient will not be getting any movement in the segments. Only in the elbow they will be getting the movement and they will be getting the weight bearing. So that will help you to improve the muscle power. Is that clear? So next is the prone on hands. The prone on hands will not will be giving a good weight bearing on the complete upper limb. Is that clear? So prone on hands will help you to give weight bearing and strengthen the whole of upper limb. Other than that, you will be able to watch TV, you will be able to read books, and you will be able to do some of the activities in prone lying. Is that clear? Next is same like prone on elbows, you have something called prone on supine on elbows. So this is your supine on elbows. This also will be giving good weight bearing in the shoulder and the elbow, and it will strengthen both the shoulder and the elbow. This supine on elbow. Okay, same thing. Okay, so this movements this movements of shoulder, like prone on elbows and prone on knees, will help you to do the push-ups, and you will be able to do the push-ups once you are able to achieve, you have achieved this prone on elbows. Is that clear? So next, after that, we will be going to sitting. So from prone on elbows, usually, 1 minute, let me go to the slide. Did you see the pictures whichever I showed you just now? Or
Yes,
it was,
please.
yes, right. Okay.
Yes, Miss.
So once prone on elbow, then prone on hand. After that, you will be going to quadruped position, because once the person has come in prone on hands, that means the whole of the upper trunk and the upper body is stable. Now you have to bring in the lower limb into the action. So for that only, what you do is, you will be the person will be holding in the hands, then slowly you help the person to lift the buttock and bring the legs into weight bearing, bring the knees into weight bearing. Okay, so this position. And you see, this is your quadruped position. Okay, so first you can just imagine the person will be in 1 minute. Okay, so you can see this is your exactly this one and this one is exactly your prone on hands. So if you see typical, this is your prone on hands. Can you see it? With the white t-shirt, full hand t-shirt, this is your prone on hands. So from this positions, what you will do is you will ask the person to lift the buttock like this, the second one. If the person is not able to do, definitely the person will not be able to do. So what you have to do is you have to give the hand under the waist and you have to lift up the buttock. Okay, so that one you have to do. So slowly once you lift the buttock, then the buttock muscles will get strong and you will be able to come to this particular position. Once you are able to come to this particular position, then you have to ask the person to bend the elbow and come to the quadruped position. This quadruped position. Okay, so from prone on elbows, hands, the person will be coming to quadruped position. So this is the quadruped position. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
So this in this quadruped position, we can do lot of activities because when you do the activities here in mat re-education, we are doing two things. One is we are bringing the position. Another one is like while you are bringing the position, you are improving the balance and stability. Another one is in that particular position, you will be doing some activities. Once you are doing some activities, automatically that particular limb will get stronger. So for example, in prone on elbows, if you see, you can do lot of movements for your neck. In prone on elbow, once the person is able to maintain the posture independently, then you have to do lot of movement for the neck, so you can make the head and neck stronger. And slowly you can go for weight shifting from one hand to the other. So first you will be putting equal weight on both the elbows. Slowly that you will be making them to put weight on one hand. So once like just a minute. Okay, so in mat activities, once you are maintaining the position independently, so that will itself will take some few weeks. Then slowly you will be going into some activities. So that activities will be uh, that activity will be helping you to improve the body segments. So in prone on elbow, you will be doing a lot of activity for the head and neck. Then slowly you will be doing activity for the weight shifting. So weight shifting means in one elbow you will be giving all the weight and you will be able to do some movement in the other hand. So this will help you to strengthen the other hand. So in this activity, what you can do, after this activity, what are the possible activities the person is able to do is he will be able to prone on the elbow and he will be able to read books, he will be able to read newspapers, he will be able to watch TV, he will also will be able to write, because by weight shifting he will be able to free his hand and he will be able to write it. Is that clear? Okay. Then next is like prone on hands. So slowly from prone on elbow, you will be coming to prone on hand. Here in prone on hand, you can do movements for the head and neck. Along with that, slowly you can go for the weight shifting in the hands. So once you go for the weight shifting in the hands, then the complete upper limb will be getting stronger. In the previous position, only the shoulder and the elbow will become stronger. But in this position, the whole of the upper limb will become stronger. So you can do activities like doing dumbbell movements, doing push-ups. So this will help you to improve your complete upper limb stronger. So once you are able to bring out the complete upper limb stronger, and this activity and this head and neck activity will help you to improve the upper trunk stronger. Then only we are going into quadruped. So once you go into the quadruped position, again first thing you try to maintain the position without any support, because first you will be maintaining the position with support. Then slowly you reduce your support and make the person to weight bear without any make the person to maintain the posture without any support. So once he is able to weight bear without any support, slowly you can start the activities. So the activities like weight shifting on one side, weight shifting on forward, backward, all these direction. So once you go for this weight shifting movement, this will help you to improve the balance in that particular posture. Okay, so it will help you to improve the posture. Then slowly what you will do is you will raise up one hand with weight bearing on the other three limbs. Then slowly you can raise up the leg, weight bearing on the other three. So like that, slowly you raise up one limb, weight bear on the other three limb. Then you lift up two limbs and weight bear on the other two. So it can be alternative, it can be opposite, or it can be on the same side. So like that, slowly you will be able to lift up the limb and weight bear on the other. So this will help you to improve the upper limb strength as well as lower limb strength. Plus this will help you to improve the complete trunk stability, because the upper trunk and the lower trunk will be able to become stronger. Is that clear? So you are going to improve the head and neck, upper trunk, then lower trunk, then the upper limb and the lower limb. So this is the best position to improve many of the body segments. So once the person is able to achieve this particular movement, then slowly you can go for crawling. Okay, so the crawling will help you to facilitate the reciprocal movement. Is that clear? So slowly the crawling will help you to facilitate the reciprocal movement. Not only that, the crawling will help you to balance the dynamic movement. Is that clear? So then after going for this crawling and all, the next position is like you will be doing kneeling. So how to bring the person to be in kneeling? So what you have to do is from quadruped position, hold the patient's hip. Okay, hold the person's hip and knee and ask the person to lift up the upper trunk. So that will come into kneeling. So quadruped is a very broader base of support compared to kneeling. So once the person is coming to kneeling, this will be the base of support will become very smaller. Not only that, the center of gravity will become little higher. That means the balancing will be little bit challenged in this particular position. Okay, so how to bring us slowly? You will make the person to hold. You will be holding the hip, hip, or you will be holding the pelvis, and ask the person to lift up the upper trunk. So this will make the person to come to kneeling. In case if the person is not able to come, then you need to give support and make them to come to kneeling. Then in kneeling, don't leave them immediately. You try to balance them inside the base of support. Then slowly you remove the support one by one. So first is you make the person to come to that particular position. Then after coming to that particular position, you make them to slowly weight bear in that. Slowly you will make them to weight bear in that knee and remove the support one by one. So once the person is able to balance without any support, then you can start the activities. So what are the activities you can do is you can go for weight shifting, shifting the weight from one leg to the other. So this will help you to go for the unilateral kneeling. Okay, shift the weight to one to other. So that is the first one. Then after that you can ask them to catch and throw the ball. So you can throw the ball and you can ask them to catch. So this will help you to improve the reach activity. So you can throw them down, you can throw them up, and you can try to see whether the person is able to catch the ball without falling down. So maybe initially they will be falling down frequently. Later, slowly they will be improved and they will be able to do it without falling down. Is that clear? Then the other activity you can do is like crawling. You can also make the person to do kneel walking. Okay, like crawling, you can also make the person to do kneel walking. Is that clear? So, so you can just imagine all the sequence whichever we have done. So first in supine lying, the base of support is very big. Then slowly you are reducing the base of support and you are coming to this kneeling. Then the base of support has become very small, as well as your body will, the person's body will become stronger because you have given lot of activities and you are improved their balance and stability. Is that clear? Okay. So after kneeling, you can go for sitting. So how to do is slowly make the person to control the trunk balance and sit on the feet. Okay, so slowly you have to control the position and you can make the person to sit on the feet. Okay, so from kneeling, let me show you the picture. You can see here, this is the kneeling position. Okay, so can you see here the blue color t-shirt and black pant? So this is kneeling position. So in this position only you are going to do lot of activity. After doing lot of activity, you make the person to control the trunk and make them to sit on the feet. Okay, so that is something like this. Can you see here? So from this position, you make them to control the trunk and make them to sit on the feet here like this. Okay, so this is your kneel sitting. So after coming to this position, then slowly what you have to do is you have to make them to go keep the feet in this direction. Okay, so initially the patient will be in this position where the toes will be holding the weight bearing. Then this position you cannot sit for a long time. Then you have to make the person to go for this position, that is kneel sitting position. Okay, where the complete leg will be getting the weight bearing. Not only the toes, the complete lower leg will be getting the weight bearing, and the person will be able to sit on the leg like this. Is that clear? So this is called kneel sitting. From this position, what you have to do is you have to shift them to side sitting position. Okay, can you see here? Can you see here? This is your side sitting position. So first initially you will make the person to sit on the complete lower limb. Then slowly transfer the pelvis to the side and make them to come to side sitting. So this is called side sitting. Once the person has come to this side sitting, then slowly you will be able to transfer the weight and bring the leg to a cross sitting position. Then you can slowly come to this cross leg sitting position. Okay, so from the side sitting, slowly you will be bringing the leg to a cross leg sitting position. So this is the complete sitting posture. Is that clear? Then from this sitting posture, you can make the person to go for long sitting position. You can also make them to go for the side sitting, then high sitting, all the positions you can bring. So long sitting, high sitting, everything you have already learned in your fundamental positions. So then you can just extend the legs and make them to sit in the long sitting position. Then you can make the person to come to sit at the edge of the couch, and we can bring the legs down, and you can make them to sit in the high sitting position. So once the person has come to high sitting position, then slowly you can make them to weight bear in the legs, support the knee, and make them to come to standing position. Is that clear? So from sitting position, either you go to a long sitting position, or you can also go for cross leg position. So after this positions, once you give all the activities, then slowly you bring them to high sitting position. So once you are making them to come to the high sitting position, then slowly put down the legs and you weight bear on the leg and make the person to stand. So that is your final mat activity, that is bringing the person to stand. Okay, so this is one way. So this making them to come to high sitting position can be done in case if the person is doing the mat activities in a higher couch. But if the person is doing the mat activity in a lower couch or on the floor, usually we will be doing the mat activities on the floor. Once you are making them to do on the floor, then you will not be able to bring the person to be in a high sitting position. What you can do is you have to make the person to come to a cross leg position. Then after cross leg position, again you will make the person to go for kneeling position. Okay, so again you will make the person to go for kneeling position. So then from kneeling you will make them to go for half kneeling position. So half kneeling position means bring one leg forward and make them to kneel in one leg. So that is your half kneeling position. So let me show you the picture. Okay, so this is your half kneeling position. So from your sitting position, again you can make them to go for kneeling, then bring the leg forward and make them to be a half kneeling position. So how to bring it? You have to give pressure and lift up the pelvis and bring to this particular position. Okay, so in this position, from this position, what you can do is you can stand in front. You will be able to support this leg, or you can just lock this leg and lift the person and bring the person to standing. Okay, slowly you will be giving activities like weight bearing on this leg, weight bearing on this leg. Then slowly you will stand in the front, hold the person and lift the patient up. Once you lift the patient up, then you will make the person to stand. Okay, so after making the person to stand, then you have to bring the patient to the parallel bar and you can go for parallel bar walking. Okay, re-education of gait. So that will be in the next segment. So till this, you will be having your mat activity. You also will be having another one, that is like once you go for prone lying, after prone lying in the bed, once you are going for the side lying, from side lying you can make the person to come to sitting position, then from sitting position you can make the person to come to high sitting, then also you can make the person to go for standing. Okay, so these are the various ways you are going to make the person to come to standing position. Is that clear? So, this mat activities are to bring the balance, bring the stability, give lot of activities in that particular position, make them independent in that particular position, then you go to the next position. Now, if you just imagine your siblings or your niece or nephews, you can just see how they have improved the milestone and how they came to walking. You can just imagine a childhood activity. So it will be doing all the activities of its own, and it will be the same activity it will be doing by its own, and it will be improving the milestone. Is that clear? Okay, so I know you will have a lot of doubts. So how to bring? It is not easy to do the mat activities because here the patient is having neurological problem. So that means their limbs will be affected. You cannot give weight bearing as you like it. So it will take a long time and you need to support the person in certain positions. So all that supporting and bringing up the from one position to another position, I will explain through video. Okay, so but some videos I don't have some video exact video. For that I have some recordings which I have performed and I have made my colleague to do it. Okay, then I if you're not able to understand with the video, then I'll try to uh, do it in I will try to do it in the video and I'll try to show it in straight away. Okay. Okay, so far do you have any doubt?
So far, no.
Okay, so I will stop today's class by here. Okay, we will start the video like practical class tomorrow. So tomorrow we will have the class between 2 to 4, isn't it?
Yes, miss.
Are you free in the morning? Okay, so if not, like, are you free after 4 to 5? In case if I'm not able to complete in the 2 hours, I just want to take 1 more hour. and I just want to finish off this practical tomorrow. Okay, so that like on Thursday and
Exactly.
Friday we will have a tutorial class and we can complete the mid semester.
We are free tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, so tomorrow we will see by 2 o'clock.
Okay,
Okay,
miss.
thank you all.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you, Miss.